I'm Shea.
I'm Madi.
This is Shea. You're super enthused to be doing this with me. Thank you.
Okay.
So today we're talking about Don't Breathe, which I thought
Yeah.
was funny that you recommended this one, even though you hadn't seen it yet.
Well, we were supposed to watch it at a Halloween party, and now watching it, I'm realizing that was the dumbest movie somebody could have picked, but okay, I doubt he watched it. Starts out with two guys and a girl. They have an addiction to stealing stuff, really, because they're all extremely poor. The girl wants to steal a lot of money so she can take her little sister out of her like toxic household, because her mom is an alcoholic and a smoker and she's kind of mean. She wants to escape to California, and she promised her little sister that she'll take her to California.
Correct.
So her boyfriend, I guess, decided it was a good idea to like rob this blind dude's house.
So we have Rocky, which is our girl. Then we have Alex, who's like the nice guy, but his dad is a police officer, and he's apparently Alex is also some kind of
he owned a
hacker
security
person.
company.
Let me double check real quick here then about
Okay.
that, just to see if we are correct. Alex, because I know Alex is the one who has the codes and he's got all of this stuff. Now I don't know.
He's the guy that has a crush on the girl but isn't dating the girl.
Does have a crush on the girl. The bad influence guy. He is
the boyfriend.
His name is Money.
Yes, Money is kind of an ass.
Yes, he does one good thing in the movie, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the gang goes. Okay, it's not exactly saying how Alex, whatever. So Alex's dad knows people. He's does something with the, I don't know.
Seems
Either
odd,
way, Alex is able to get all of these keys, and he's able to get he has access to all of the security codes and keys and all this other stuff. So they decide they're going to go to the house. And so they go and they stake it out for like a hot second, for seriously like a second.
He has a seeing dog.
He has a Rottweiler, yes.
And the Rottweiler jumps on the car and everyone's like, ah, and then they're like, okay, we're going to put the dog to sleep.
Yeah, so they put some, stuff in the dogs, give him some food, and so he went to sleep for a little bit. They expected to be in and out rather quickly. Yeah. Because, it's a blind guy who's like,
yeah, it's like taking care from a baby.
Yeah, it's so easy. So they break into the house, they take their shoes off, to be quiet or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's so many parts of the movie where I'm like, wait, I don't understand. So right before they go into the house, Rocky, the woman, she's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, you don't think he would smell that? Because
right, does his house smell like cigarettes? That you don't think his sense of smell has improved since he lost his eyesight? I mean, for real.
Yeah,
I'm so bothered by that part. So, and I think it's the first thing I thought of. I was like, see, you're gonna get caught because you smell like cigarettes. But whatever. So they go in. Apparently, that did not tip him off at all. There's 3 of them. They're in the house. They wander all through the house.
Yes.
Now our main guy, our guy, he's asleep upstairs. And so at no point does this guy wake up, because Money goes and pretty much hovers over him, over his bed. I know when someone's staring at me when I'm asleep, I wake up. They're all downstairs trying to figure out where would this Money be. They assume it's in the basement because there's a lock on the door.
Yeah.
And so then the old guy, the blind guy, wakes up, comes downstairs, and he's like, who's there? Who's here or whatever. So Money ends up saying he's there. Yeah. Right. He like,
he's
give
alone.
Me your money,
nobody's
whatever.
There.
Yeah. Cause he goes, is anybody else here with you? And he was like, no, it's just me. So he's the only thing that was kind.
That was the only good thing he did. Everything else, he was like, you're going in this house with us. You're a fucking coward for not going in this house with us. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Nobody likes
everything
you anymore.
Else was like he was an ass, but the one redeeming quality was he did not rat everybody else out. So he gets his head blown off because, the war vet, the Gulf War vet, Norman, is his name.
Got-
He beats the shit out of him and shoots him in the face.
Yeah. And then the girl, she goes and hides in the closet, and she's like, "Don't breathe," like the whole point of the
because
movie.
Alex, I guess he tried to leave, or he was like, "Hey, we're leaving. We're out. He knows we're here. We're leaving." And I think, I don't know if he got outside or he went somewhere. He went to another room and the guy shot Money. She runs into the closet. Now she's breathing heavily.
Yeah, but she's like, that's gonna do anything.
Do you not think that he wouldn't hear you? Because he goes into the closet.
Yeah, and she's like, and it's like, how does homie not hear you?
Right. You don't hear that. Okay, so he goes into the closet, which is where his safe is. So he wants to make sure that
he
the safe
changes the passcode.
He doesn't change it. He puts in the passcode. She sees it.
And she's like,
he opens it. He just wanted to make sure his money was still there.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, money's still there. He locks it back up. And so she sees the passcode. She knows the passcode. Okay, so she waits for him to leave. He leaves. Eventually, Alex comes back and he's like, oh my God, is everything okay? She's like, he shot Money. And he's like, okay, well, we need to leave now.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. And she goes straight to the safe and pulls out apparently $1 million. Just pulling out money. And then Alex is like, oh my God, what are you doing? We have to leave. So then turns into, they're not exactly quiet, like little by little, this guy has figured out there's more than one person in the house, and just crazy shit happens. So they end up like running all over the house. The dog wakes up.
The dog goes for the girl, right?
Cujo from hell, charging everybody and trying to kill him.
How did the dog get in the fucking house if the dude locked all the doors and the windows after they entered?
There probably was like a doggy door or something. I don't know.
Okay, but then how did you? Okay.
I don't know. He can't smell things or, really hear people breathing heavily. So I don't know. I don't understand there's no logic. So we're just going with it.
Okay.
So eventually our team, our Alex and Rocky, run downstairs into the basement to get away from this guy who's like, okay, this confused me, because to get into the basement, it's like this weird ladder booby trap, because you can't just run down the stairs. It's like a ladder, it goes straight down, and then you gotta jump. How does he get in and out, like the blind dude, get in and out of his basement on the regular anyways?
Yeah, that is a good question, but I guess like seeing and feeling things.
I guess, but I was just like, this just seems too weird.
I don't know. Like, there were a lot of things that didn't like add up with his sort of sensory, like the way he does things.
So they're in the basement and they stumble across a girl.
Yes, and she's all tied up
and harnessed up to the wall.
Yeah.
And she gives Rocky a newspaper clipping, and it was of her where she had either been drunk or was texting, and she hit a girl and killed her and then got off. She got off. They said that she wasn't manslaughter. Right. They paid a fine and she went home with her hand slapped. But as it turns out, it was the blind dude, Norman. It was his daughter.
Yes.
That was killed, which is why he kidnapped this girl and then has her chained up there. We don't find out later why she's chained up there, but we just know that this is why. We assume he's just there to torture her and kill her because she killed his daughter.
So then they untie her and they're like, okay, there's the cellar door. Let's leave now.
Yeah.
But then Norman just fucking appears and he's like, yeah, there's more than one person. They're in the basement. Well, I gotta get them.
Yeah, he turns all the lights off in there, and then I really hate these views where it's like, was it night vision goggles? Where like, he goes, let them see what I see. He killed the girl.
He shot.
He didn't. Because they tried to,
they tried to escape. The Rocky and Alex ran away. It further into the basement, and Norman had a whole moment with this dead girl because he's like, they killed her. So then
Yeah,
that
it's at that
happens.
moment where he explains why he was keeping her.
Well,
I
no,
believe. Was that a little
he
later? He
explains
explains.
it later on.
Okay, a little later. Okay, so then they rush off, and so they end up in some other part of the house. Oh, they end up upstairs. They run back upstairs. The dog is loose in the house, chasing them. They go into a room. Then they can't just climb out of a window. They're trapped in this room.
Yeah, because
And
the window was barred.
it's barred. Yeah. So I don't know how if he goes back out into the hallway and finds another window or what. He ends up falling on top of the another floor roof.
No, he got in a fight with Norman.
Oh, okay.
And he was
okay.
thrown out the window.
I was thrown out the window because Alex found a furnace, and so she crawled through that.
Yes, she went into the vents, and
mm-hmm.
Rocky went into the vents. Alex got in a
fight. Oh, did I say that
in the laundry
okay, yes.
room. He grabbed a hammer and tried hitting Norman with the hammer. But Norman just ended up chucking him out the window, and he was just laying on the glass roof, like
right as it's cracking and whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's now in the vents. So she's trying to figure out how to get out through the vents. Yes, Mission Impossible type of thing. And then the dog ends up going through the vents after her.
The dog did?
That's what made her go faster, to just go. She ended up falling farther into some kind of part of the vent or a hole or a laundry. I don't know what but she fell. So she was knocked out. She was there for a little bit. I don't know how she didn't walk away with like 5,000 broken bones.
Yeah. Like, how is Norman still alive? Like,
oh, Alex?
No, Norman.
Oh, Norman. I don't know. He's superhuman.
Apparently, because at a certain point, it just got frustrating how many times like he should have died and didn't.
Correct. Yes, I absolutely agree. So then, they each wake up. She's in the vent, so she has to find her way out of the vents. Alex is on top of this glass, which is on the verge of shattering. So he ends up shattering and falling down into like the kitchen or the laundry room again.
Yeah.
And then Norman comes in and beats the hell out of this kid.
Poor kid.
And then you just think he's dead at this point. You're like, he's just dead.
Nope.
Nope. But he's
once again, it's also frustrating how many times he should have died as well.
Right. And so then Alex or Rocky, she's in the vents. She somehow climbs into. Did Norman get her at that point?
Yeah, she accidentally kicked a hole out of the vent, and he heard it, and he ran and grabbed her.
So he finds her, pulls her, back into the house, sticks her in the basement, and then ties her up to the harness that the original girl was hooked up to. And then he explains the whole thing on how the reason he had her was because she killed his daughter. So she was actually pregnant with his child.
So he could have another daughter.
So he could have another child. So he's like, well, since you killed her, I'm going to use you. And he's like, I'm not a rapist. He ties up this woman, cuts her pants, and he's going to artificially inseminate her.
Yeah. Okay, that part made me almost throw up.
Oh, it was so gross. It was so gross. I was like, oh my God. And what are you collecting it?
Swear to God, there was like a hair inside of it.
Yes. I read a thing about that specifically, that the director wanted to be authentic. So his assistant director, he cut their hair and stuck it in there for authenticity. Okay, cut their regular hair, not their pubes. Come on now.
No, but yeah. Still, it like the thought of it, like, ugh.
I know. But I'm just like, what that is? What are you doing? You just coming down to the basement and just into that like every day? Because that seemed like a lot going on in that you were able to squeeze out that much in a turkey baster. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's so gross. Yeah. Alex eventually appears, beaten and bruised, with no broken bones, just his face is mangled. And
I thought he broke his hand or something.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because he was holding the hammer and he broke his hand.
Oh, okay.
The dude tries to get her pregnant, but Alex comes in and unties her and beats the shit out of Norman. before
and then
like
ties
it
him up,
happens.
and they stuck the thing in his face. Oh my god, that was so gross.
Oh my god, that was the second part where I almost threw up. I was like, ugh, no.
I watched this before you did, and I was like, oh, Maddie's not gonna like that part.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh wow.
Just jammed it down his throat. And he was like, ugh.
Oh,
And I was
gross.
like, ugh.
Ugh. So they're like, you're gonna go to prison, and then Alex stops Rocky and goes, no, he's not.
Because you know, we have the fucking money.
We've
We're
stolen
gonna
the
go
money.
to jail too.
So we will also go to jail. He goes, because then the guy's
This
like,
is
just
like-
leave, just leave. I won't tell anybody or whatever. And Alex has to explain to Rocky, like, he's buying our silence
Yeah,
because we have his money. So it's like, okay, fine. So they go upstairs, they're gonna leave, right? And then all of a sudden Norman appears, because of course he has an extra key on him for the handcuffs or whatever. So he comes upstairs, kills Alex at the doorway, and Rocky, having some sense, opens the door and just books it. She's like, nope, I gotta go, we gotta leave. And so she's running down the street. She ends up jumping into a car because the devil dog is after her again.
It was her car.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? Well, she didn't have the key.
She
It was
had the
Money's
keys.
car. It was
Money's
Money's car.
And she had
She
the
didn't
keys.
have the
She kept
keys.
trying to she did have the keys.
No, she didn't. She
I
was
thought-
looking for the keys, and she did not have the keys
I thought she was trying to start the car.
because it was Money's car. She was looking
Oh.
for the keys. So then the devil dog shows up, and she's in her car, and she's like, oh crap, because the dog is obviously giving attention to where her location is. Norm's going to come over and figure out where she is, and he's just going to drag her back.
Yeah.
So she has to figure out a way. She does some MacGyver crap in the car to get the dog stuck in the trunk.
Yeah, she opens the trunk and then like pulls the trunk closed
Creates a
and then
pulley string,
slams
yep.
the back closed.
Mhm.
And then the dog is still trying to fight to get to her.
Mhm. Yeah, so she ends up locking the dog in the trunk. She gets out of the car, but at that moment she had been doing
Norman
this for
was
so
right
long.
there.
Norman's there and grabs her and drags her back to the house by her hair.
You know, like at the very start of the movie, like showing
It shows
that
the
was
exact thing,
foreshadowing.
exactly. Foreshadow.
Yeah.
Well, it was literally showing us what was happening. So she gets in there. So now Alex is not there to save her because he's dead, and you're just like, oh, it's just bad.
Again.
Bad things are happening to this woman. Oh my god! Like at that moment, you're just like defeated through the movie, and you're like, oh, how did she get away from that?
She managed to run away again.
Oh, that's right, because she had the clicker for his alarm.
Yeah.
That Alex brought.
Yeah, she had the clicker and the alarms were blaring, and he's like overwhelmed by the sound, and he like kind of falls over, and he's like, sound.
Right, because his superhuman hearing couldn't hear her breathing earlier, but he can now hear this, and it's loud, and so the cops are going to come. So she runs across the street and she leaves. She's just like, I'm out. Just keep running
to a field.
Yeah, she just runs. She's just runs. I just need to run. The cops come, all of this stuff. Okay. And then it cuts to her in the airport with her
little sister
going to California. She's running away. So then she's at the airport. She sees on the TV screen and walks over.
He's still alive.
He's still alive, being pushed into an ambulance. And they had asked him, was anything else? He was attacked. Yes. Was there anything still in the house? And he says no. And then that's it. And then moves over.
Yeah.
So there's a part 2. Part 2 is there. I did not watch part 2.
I don't want to watch part 2.
But I will say this, I did have to look it up because I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be like a hostile thing where they bring back the main character that survived and then she dies. She did not. She just is gone. She's just not in this one at all.
Good.
Living her life in California.
Live her life in Cali. End it there.
Exactly. I don't know what the other one's about.
Like, she shouldn't risk her safety if she's now happy with her sister like she wanted to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I got annoyed with Hostel, because my main character who gets away comes back the next movie to, I don't know, tell everyone about it, and then he dies. And I'm like, see, this is why you don't go back. You just don't go back. Don't look back.
Just don't go back. Because
Don't look back. Just
you
go
get
away.
captured like 3 or 4 times after trying to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should learn that should be the last time.
Exactly. And if we've learned anything from the story, it should be you don't steal from people.
Blind people.
Any people. Just don't do it. Don't
'Cause
do
they-
it. So how do you want to rate this movie?
In Vicious Dogs.
Okay, good. Let's not do turkey basters or anything. Let's do how many Rottweilers do you give it?
Oh. How many out of how many?
1 out of 5.
Probably a 2.
You're gonna give it a 2. Why is that?
Okay, there were some things that I liked, and then I just hated a lot of it. Like his sensory didn't make sense because he could hear quiet things, but he can't hear loud things. But the things I did like he can navigate his own way, and they're like freaking out because now they're in his position because they're blinded. And he's chasing after them. I think that's pretty cool, like artistically. And like, I don't know, I didn't like the characters at all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a difficult
I know I was
one.
supposed to hate money, and I did. I kind of liked the girl only because she wanted to take her sister out of a bad situation. Like,
yes, you know what? I'm actually going to give it. I'm going to give it 3.5 because while I did not like the movie, like it made my soul feel dirty afterwards.
That's how I felt. I felt like I need an everything cleanse. Pretty much.
So I felt dirty afterwards. I was like, ugh, it is not something I'm going to watch again. But I did feel it was very well done.
Yes, everything felt realistic. You felt a lot of emotions because at first, like, I kind of liked the blind dude until like you learn about his dark secrets.
I think that's the point.
Yeah, I still think I'm gonna keep my 2 because I was just angry like for half the movie because that person should have died. They should have escaped. They shouldn't have come back.
I know.
I was just angry for half the movie. I'm like,
so until next time, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, share, do all the things. And yeah. So don't try to steal from old blind men.
Don't run over girls.
And don't run over people. Yes, this is a good one. Yes. Okay. Well.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, that was cute. The whole spinning thing, I like it.
That was not intentional.
Oh, okay. I totally thought it was.
I landed upside down.
You just dropped it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well then.